Good evening, folks. You know, let's just consider this video a little air cleaning, okay? Every now and then, the filter gets plugged and the air kind of sucks. So I'm here to clear it out a little. And, you know, I certainly realize that as a person and as a group, I and we were far more popular when we were just spouting the shit that everyone is spouting. But as I've said to you for several months now, we are no longer in that position. In fact, we were wrong in some of our thinking. We have changed our thinking because of that. We also acknowledge that the situation in this country has changed quite a bit since we started thinking that way. So much of our thinking that was based on reality has also changed. Because, you know, as a great man once said, you can't stay neutral on a moving train. And we are certainly on a moving train right now. So first of all, let me clear the air with respect to Vladimir Putin and Russia. Somebody on Facebook, you know, made a commentary that, what's the matter? I thought you didn't like right-wing fascists. Well, I don't like right-wing fascists. And they were referring to the stories about the Ukraine being run by right-wing fascists. So let me just say this. Vladimir Putin isn't denazifying the Ukraine. That's not why he's there. He's not a guy who deals in altruistic actions. He is an ex-high-ranking member of the KGB. He never wanted Russia to fall apart the way it did and to change. He was not a glasnost kind of guy, ever. And he wants a united Russia under his control. Period. End of story. Okay? I'm not saying that Vladimir Putin is not a statesman. He's certainly much smoother than, let's say, the Orange Jackaloon. But that doesn't mean he's a good guy doing good things. Now, I'm looking at what's going on in the Ukraine. And you know what? They may be going through some growing pains, but they are, without a doubt, a very young nation. And they're going to go through those growing pains just like we did when we were a very young nation. And those people have a right to do what they're doing. They are a sovereign nation. So all of a sudden, all these people who never cared about intervention, they always spoke against the United States interventionist activities, all of a sudden, they don't have a problem with Vladimir Putin because he's denazifying the Ukraine. Shut the fuck up, really. Okay? Stop it. Stop it. The people of the Ukraine want to fight Vladimir Putin, and I support the people of the Ukraine. Okay? The world is united for once against this guy, and it needs to stay united. Because you know what? Here's a guy who's already threatened 2 other countries who want to join NATO. You know what? Fucking Sweden, Norway, and whoever else wants to join, they're sovereign nations too. If they want to join fucking NATO, they should be allowed to join NATO. I am not now, nor ever, going to support someone who is literally annihilating people. I'm not doing it. I am not defending Vladimir Putin now or ever. And you know what? I'm tired of hearing about if the United States had done this, this would never have happened. Yes, it would. Oh, I'm afraid it would. So you can stop that nonsense too. Number two, I'm not going to argue with people in my groups over media, who I listen to, who I read, what I post. Yep, you're right, I do. I post things from the New York Times. I post things from the LA Times. In fact, I subscribe to the New York Times. I subscribe to the LA Times. I subscribe to the Miami Herald. I subscribe to the Boston Globe. I subscribe to Rolling Stone. I subscribe to the Daily Beast. And I don't subscribe to any right-wing outlets because I will not give them any money, but I read them every day just so I know what's going on. You're right. And no, I don't post memes very often because you know what? Memes aren't attached to facts. Okay? So if someone says to me, oh, someone posted a meme tonight and I said, this meme means nothing to me. But, what is this telling me? And then someone came back and said, oh, but you post from the LA Times with the little puke face, the Facebook puke face. You're right, I do. I do. Because you're not making up news. You may not like the spin they have on things, but there's spin everywhere, folks. Okay? There's spin everywhere. And I prefer news outlets that actually follow journalistic standards, having been a journalism major. So, yeah, you're right. I do. And if you don't like that, I don't know what to fucking tell you. I'm not asking you to read them. I'm just telling you what I read. And yes, I do believe they're reporting facts. Okay? I might also like to take this time to point out that Fox News has been around for 25 years. They have never won one major journalistic award ever. And they never will. Okay? So, we all know what they're all about. Between Fox, OAN, and the rest of the fucking Trump outlets, they just make shit up wholesale. They don't really care whether they're telling the truth or not. So when people like Tulsi Gabbard and Glenn Greenwald hang around on Fox, it makes me laugh. Like, what, I'm going to think they're credible? No, I don't anymore. And thirdly, I'd like to address this to the GOP leadership mostly, who says there's no place for white supremacy in the GOP. Well, there apparently is, because Marjorie Taylor Greene and Paul Gosar and Josh Hawley and Lauren Boebert and Madison Cawthorn, they're all still in the GOP, and the GOP is still paying fealty to the orange jackaloon, who is a white supremacist, no matter how you look at it. And for Marjorie Taylor Greene to stand up and say that she didn't know that America First was a fascist, white supremacist organization, she's full of shit, okay? Either she's full of shit, or maybe she should be taught to look at where she's making a speech before she actually goes and makes that speech. There is plenty of room for bullshit in the Republican Party, okay? William Barr all of a sudden saying that Donald Trump's not fit for public office. How convenient, just when his book is coming out. He had months to do this. Months. Okay? He had months to do this. He enabled Donald Trump while he was in office. He covered for Donald Trump while he was in office. I'm tired of all these apologists coming out of the woodwork now. Really. So let me say this. This group, my group, our group, that we spend Sunday nights presenting information to you. We are now updating a website. Our goal here, I'm going to be perfectly blunt with you as to where we are right now. I'm not sitting on the sofa anymore and not voting. That's not going to happen, okay? That's number one. Number two, the goal here is to keep the GOP from retaining control. Now, I understand that most men really don't give a flying fuck about women's rights. As nice as some men are, let's face it, boys, you really don't give a damn. But I'm a woman and I'm gay and my child is in transition and I have a lot of battles to fight. And maybe many of you aren't there, so you don't understand that. But the other part of this whole equation is that everybody in this country I could literally live with the right wing if they didn't spend their time trying to jockey people's personal lives, telling people how to live, oppressing people who are transgender simply because they don't understand it, oppressing gay people simply because they're not gay. And I guess I don't understand the American people who don't give a flying fuck for one another on any level. But it only goes to show just what happens when you're under the rule of a man for 4 years who thinks only of himself. We now have a population who thinks only of themselves as individuals instead of a people. I'm not there anymore. So if, because I'm not there anymore, I don't have as many hits or I don't have as many followers, I frankly could give a shit. As far as I'm concerned, social media is a shithole. And the only reason I'm still here is because the right wing just about owns all of social media right now, and I'm trying to keep some of that from happening on some fucking level. If you have a problem with where I am or what we are doing as the Factivist Project as opposed to become ungovernable, let me remind you that I couldn't get you fucking people off the sofa to do anything even peaceful. So we're done with all that nonsense, okay? But the one thing that people need to understand is in order to make intelligent decisions about where you are in life, you have to at least have the facts in front of you. And memes aren't based in fact, by and large. They are opinion. If that's a problem for you, move along, little doggies. We will never support the right wing. We will never break bread with the right wing. And we will never, ever in a million years, sit back and let the right wing spread misinformation again. Because all of this has led us to where we are right now. Again, as I've said, I'm not going to spend time debating and arguing on Facebook. If you've got a problem, you can just leave. Because as I've said before, people who aren't willing to stand up to fascists in government, and there are, I'm not worried about the Ukraine right now. I'm worried about what's going on here. So if you're not willing to stand up to the right wing, if you're not willing to stand up to the GOP, then you're of no use to me. I really don't care. I don't see anybody on social media as a lifelong friend. Okay? I don't. With the exception of Sarah and Dave and the people we've been working with for the last 6 years. They're an exception to the rule. But as far as anyone else on social media, sorry, you're not lifelong friends. I don't even know you, basically, except from your posts. I'll talk to you all later.